Welcome back. Presentations with genetic modification in agriculture.
Good afternoon. My name is Newland alongside Casey, Jacob, Kat, Kelly, and Zeth, and today our presentation is genetic modification in agriculture. The term GMO is an acronym for the phrase genetically modified organism. There are many different methods for creating a GMO. These methods range from simply isolating DNA, altering it, and inserting it either back into the original organism or into a separate organism, and then proceeding to propagate that organism. Another method for creating a GMO is by creating man-made DNA and/or rDNA, and then using the DNA to change the genetic makeup of the organism. Genetically modified products are mainly used in the agricultural industry. In the past 2 decades, genetically modified products have risen as a controversy due to misinformation and misconception. In biotechnology today, genetic modification arises as a significant topic because by the year 2050, the world population is expected to exceed 9 billion. Farmers are now dealing with the growing issue of having to produce more to supply the growing population, all while using fewer resources. Genetically modified products pose a solution to this issue. In 1994, the United States Food and Drug Administration approved the Flavor Saver tomato, which was the first genetically modified product to be commercialized and put on the market for consumers. This tomato had an altered gene that would delay ripening. Once the tomato was ripened, it would remain firmer longer to increase shelf life and make easier use of transportation. The Flavor Saver tomato is just one of the many benefits of genetically modified products in the agricultural industry. As I said earlier, a major issue surrounding GMOs is lack of education. Through this grant proposal, we hope to educate the next generation of farmers and biotech engineers, along with educating the general public.
Currently, the government controls which GM crops are consumed and produced in the United States. The United States Federal Food and Drug Administration has a policy guidelining that all GM crops must follow all the rules that apply to regularly grown and bred crops in the U.S. The science of GM crops began in the Neolithic Stone Age, when early humans began to breed crops together to produce new and more desirable traits. Currently, some companies such as Monsanto are working to produce miracle foods that will benefit our society in many good ways. There is a current soybean that is being produced that contains omega-3s. Omega-3s are a fatty acid which can reduce the risk of stroke, reduce the risk of heart failure, and can lower blood pressure. GMOs are a very large controversy. Some people say that GMOs are unhealthy and unnatural, while others support them for their future possibilities and for their economic benefits. The negative accusations are all caused from poor awareness and poor education in the subject of GMOs.
As a group, we chose education as our compelling issue. We found it best to maximize the impact of this technology through educating everyone, so everyone knows about the different ways GM crops can be beneficial to the economy, to people, to ourselves, to our health, and to the environment. We plan to use several different ways to educate people. We're planning on holding seminars, planning on using different social media platforms such as Twitter or Instagram. We have an Instagram page right now. And we want to educate everyone so everyone knows the truth about GMOs, because there are a lot of negative connotations that go along with GMOs, such as some people that believe that GMOs cause cancer when in fact there's no conclusive study anywhere that proves that GMOs cause cancer. We specifically want to help the small farmer who may not know that GMOs can help them maximize their profit while using less land and less resources and less labor.
Our group was chosen to initiate a more thorough educational program in regards to the topic of genetic modification in agriculture. We will do so by creating a curriculum for both high school and college level students, as well as creating seminars and visiting agricultural fairs to spread this information. We will also be using social media, such as Instagram and Twitter, to promote facts and information about GMOs. In fact, we've already created an Instagram account for GMOs, in which is FGLN.GMOs. Another thing we would like to do is extend the research of GMOs and the length of research by researching the development of GMOs in both agriculture and the long-term effects on the environment and public health. We do this to dispel the barriers that are surrounding GMOs and the doubt that has often been present on the topic.
In our national educational campaign, we will be traveling either as a large group of 6 or smaller groups of 2 to various schools, state fairs, and public seminars. In order to incorporate the cost of travel, general maintenance, advertisements, a salesman, and the campaign itself, $128,000 is needed out of a $250,000 grant. We will collect donations throughout the campaign to aid in our funding, and our campaign will start as soon as our grant has been fulfilled. A social media account was placed on Instagram, and one will be placed on Twitter. These accounts allow for a quicker and easier way of spreading information about the benefits of GMOs with the world. Our account, FGLN.GMOs, is currently running, and new posts are being added each week. Since Instagram and Twitter are free, and the accounts are being run by the 6 people you see in front of you, it will cost nothing to run this account. In order to better inform the public about the safety of GMOs, 2 private part-time researchers will be hired to perform tests on the effects of GMOs on the environment and on organisms. These researchers will be sent to a lab in St. Louis, Missouri, which also happens to be the location of Monsanto's headquarters. $114,000 will be spent to cover the costs of hiring 2 researchers, sending them to Missouri, acquiring adequate materials for the labs, and renting a lab space. In order to track how we have impacted our topic, we will acquire quantitative and qualitative data from the researchers. Also, during our campaign, surveys will be handed out before and after each seminar to see how one's knowledge of GMO has improved. Overall, $242,000 will be spent out of the $250,000 grant. All excess money will go towards more trips in our campaign, any obstacles you may have to overcome, and more advertising.
As stated before, genetically modified agriculture is really nothing more than a crop that has had a specific gene or a specific set of genes either replaced or deleted in order to more efficiently produce a higher quality crop. This technology began with the flavor saver tomato, as it was the first of its kind to be sold, and has since expanded to many other crops, such as corn, wheat, and soy. All of these crops are major contributors to the American agricultural economy, and this is mainly due to the fact that genetically modified plants have a higher yield than non-modified plants, which is due to their increased tolerance to stress and disease. This allows for more plants to be grown in the same or less amount of acreage, which allows the crops to have the capability to feed more people. This is important as the growing population epidemic will have a detrimental effect in the future if something is not done now. With the utilization of this technology, the expected exponential increase in population can be supported. What we plan to do is to educate the public, and by holding public seminars for the educational systems by reaching out to the younger generations through social media and the public through advertising, we hope to establish the truth about genetically modified agriculture and dispel the myths. Thank you. Are there any questions?
So if you're increasing their tolerance to certain diseases and other things that could limit their lifespan, is it possible that these plants that are being genetically modified could somehow crossbreed with another plant organism that is not necessarily beneficial?
Yes, there is. There are several different techniques that you can do this. You may not know, but Monsanto, since they control all the seeds that they produce, none of the seeds that they have, you can't take the seeds from that crop from the sungrow. You can't plant them in the ground. They will not germinate. Another way to do that is in your field, if you've got your GM crops, you'll have them more towards the center and around the edges. You have natural plants that are the same species, but they haven't been modified. So any crossbreeding that happens there would be contained within the field because the crossbreeding can't take place outside if the, I guess if the just conventional plants are on the edges, it helps limit that.
You just said that they don't, okay, sorry. You just said that they're sterile, basically,
Yes,
from months into, how do they make more seeds then?
they genetically modify them. It's a hybrid seed type deal. Hybrid seeds won't reproduce. Like anytime you go buy seeds from a co-op or anything like that, it's a less chance of them reproducing if you take the seeds from that crop and plant them again, because they want to make more money, so they want you to come back and buy the seeds.
Gotcha.
Very good. Thank you.